We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved, just like a tree that's planted by the waters. We shall not be moved. We're fighting for a contract. We shall not be moved. We're fighting for a contract. We shall not be moved, just like a tree that's planted by the waters. We shall not be moved. We're stronger together, we shall not be moved. We're stronger together, we shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the waters, we shall not be moved. We're fighting for an increase, we shall not be moved. We're fighting for an increase, we shall not be moved. Just like the tree that's planted by the waters, we shall not be moved. Respect. We're fighting for respect. We shall not be moved. We're fighting for respect. We shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the waters, we shall not be moved. Justice. We're fighting for justice. We shall not be moved. We're fighting for justice. We shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the waters, we shall not be moved. With the workers behind us, the workers behind us, we shall not be moved. The workers behind us, we shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the waters, we shall not be moved. We're stronger together. We're stronger together. We shall not be moved. We're stronger together. We shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the waters, we shall not be moved.
Happy Tuesday, and we are stronger together. This is SEIU Says, and we thank you for letting us into your homes. This is a weekly union show dedicated to union members and the communities that they live in. SEIU Says is sponsored by GWC, that's Goldberg, Weissman, and Cairo, Illinois' largest personal injury and workers' compensation law firm. If you have questions on workers' comp, or you think that you may be eligible for a workers' comp case, we encourage you to give us a phone call at 312, and this is the number to the Member Resource Center at SEIU Local 73. That number, everyone, is 312-588-7630. The number, once again, is 312-588-7630. And I have a guest today. Introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Nicholas Reid. I'm an organizer with SEIU Local 73. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, and we're going to talk to him in a minute. So we have another important announcement to make, everyone. That's right. It's that time, everybody. Yay! It's the general membership meeting time. That's right. It's time for all the members, Illinois and Northwest Indiana, to come out, and we cordially invite you to Saturday, May the 10th. That's the day before Mother's Day. It's Saturday, May the 10th, 2014, 9 a.m. at the local 300 South Ashland in the basement, Teamster Hall. That's right. And it's going to be a rose for every mom. That's right. Women help create the labor movement, and we want to give them a rose. All the working moms get roses. And not only will you get a rose, but you will immediately be put into a special raffle that day. So you can win a spa visit, the nail salon, a luscious chocolate. That's right. Spa visit, nail salon, or luscious chocolate. And we're going to give a rose out to everyone. So we encourage you to attend that meeting. If you've never been to a union meeting before, and come on out, get information. When you come to this meeting, we're going to talk about pension. We're going to talk about division updates. And we're going to talk about things that are important. That's you, the things that you do in the workplace. So to RSVP for this event, that number, get a pen, everyone, is 312-588-7630. That number is 312-588-7630, and that will RSVP you for the general membership meeting on May the 10th, 2014. Also, I have another announcement to make. Communities organized to win. It's a grassroots foundation inside of SEIU Local 73. And what we're doing is we're trying to cultivate voters. And what we're going to have is a deputy register class. And so people can get people to rock the vote, get people interested in voting. And as you know, voting is important. It changes everything.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Okay. So what you want to do, that phone number, get a pen, everyone. That number is 312. And this is a different number. This number is 312-588-7620. That number is 312-588-7620. Or you can email Jennifer Edwards, and her name is, and this is the email address, JEDWARDS-cow@SEIU73.org. So it's like the dash sign, like when you minus in math, so not to confuse anybody. That is JEDWARDS, the minus sign, or the dash sign, cow, COW, at SEIU73.org. Capital letters is not sensitive in case like that. And so what you want to do is you want to please leave your name, where you're registered to vote, and your phone number. Classes will be scheduled when we reach capacity, like at 45, because we had a meeting last Saturday, and that meeting was magnificent. Like about 70 people that came out, and people were talking about the changes that are going to take place. So you are a part of history. You can rewrite tomorrow by what you do today. So we encourage you to stay engaged and be encouraged with that. So you can do it. You can make the change. So that is a cow meeting. So today is a very, 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 very special day, because this subject is close to my heart. It is organizing, and it's about giving people a voice in the workplace. As Nick mentioned, that he is one of the organizers for SEIU Local 73, and SEIU just got a contract. People voted to have union representation. And where was that place?
So that was at the Regional Mental Health Clinic.
Okay.
Regional Mental Health Center, in Indiana, Northwest Indiana, and Merrillville, and also Gary. They have different offices around Northwest Indiana.
Okay.
Yep. And they just voted to they voted yes, and they've been organizing for a long time actually. They all came together and they voted yes to have their union just this past week. So
that is amazing. That's very amazing.
Yeah.
So when you vote yes to a union, what does that mean?
So it all started a long time ago with this group of workers who just recently voted yes to have their union. Basically, what it means is that they saw things that were going wrong at their workplace. They saw things that were going wrong in terms of the way their coworkers were treated, and in terms of how they were treated as workers and employees, and how their clients and their patients were treated. And so
kind of like a domino effect.
It was a whole multitude of things that they saw that were going wrong and that they really knew needed to change.
Okay.
And so, they came together, with their coworkers. They stood up side by side with their coworkers for themselves and for their patients in order to give themselves a real voice and a real chance at changing things at this mental health center. So, and they did it. They won.
What were some of the pitfalls for the people that were not? Some of the pitfalls that they're not organized. What were some of the things, if you can recollect, that they were going through? What were some of the things that management were doing to them to, unfortunately, as you know, sometimes, not all management, but a lot of times, management is about us for and no more.
Right.
And so, unfortunately, the workers, which are the backbone of America, we always want to make sure that the American dream is always still living and progressing and moving forward. That a lot of times management is sometimes about cutting costs and making people do the work of 5 people when they could have hired someone else to do it. And then what's bad about that is that if you work all day long, when you come home, you're tired and you can't spend the time with your children, especially if you're single and things like that. And it's just like crazy, because you work and you dedicate and you give your all and all to a place, and then you need to have your, I call it me time. You need to have your me time when you have to charge up and you have to do the things that's important. And the crazy thing about that a lot of times is everyone's like, okay, I work Monday through Friday and I can do it on the weekend. But everybody else works Monday through Friday as well. Yeah. And so weekends, when you try to handle businesses, is always crowded, and it's just a task. So when you're ununionized, you are at will.
Right.
Unfortunately, in the state of Illinois, you are at will. So an employer can be like, well, hey, I don't blah, blah, blah. I don't like this, that, whatever. And you're gone. So these people were experiencing things and they knew they need to step their game up. They knew they had to take their power. They knew that they had to bring about a change. And they did this by organizing to have a union.
Right.
So what were some of the things they were going through?
So a lot of the things that you mentioned, they were going through. And so, these people, you have to understand, for all the folks out there, they worked at a mental health center. And, these, that means that they were taking care of the mentally ill. And they may have taken care of these people in group homes. That's where people actually live. And these workers, they actually take care of these mentally ill folks at these group homes. There might have been like an outpatient center where somebody who is mentally ill, they come in to get treatment for a day and then they go. And so these workers, they were experiencing a whole range of issues and whole range of problems that they wanted to fix. One of which is, staffing levels. So you actually mentioned that. So staffing levels at the group homes and at the center, they were very low. And so basically these workers, they were put in this tough position of wanting to give the best care that they possibly could to these clients. They're totally dedicated to the clients. They're the whole reason. One of the whole reason, like the biggest reason that they're there, is to take care of these clients and take care of these people who are mentally ill. And so that's what they care about most. And
they want to make a difference in other people's lives.
They want to make a difference in other people's lives, but management wasn't actually, they weren't giving them enough staff to actually give them the best care as possible. Like you were saying, if there's one worker to take care of maybe 15 people,
they'll do it.
They'll try their best to do that, and they will give the best possible care that they can give. But does that mean that the patients are getting the best care?
No, it's called burnout. The person would get burned out.
They get burned out, and so that's one of the biggest issues that they had to take care of.
And we have a caller, correct?
Good evening, Jim. How you doing?
Good. How are you? This is SEIU Says.
All right. First of all, I'm a taxpayer. And the city should open up their books and let everybody see in terms of what they have. And like it or not, these politicians, they are accountable to the taxpayers. When I understand these unions want to have more money, they want in terms of their health care costs and all that to be reasonable. But at the same time, when they taxing the citizens, in terms of they raise the water bill, they raise the taxes, and it's really ridiculous. And then you got the mayor. He want to build this new stadium for DePaul, and he want to redo Soldier Field. Now, if you got all that kind of money, and then plus you sitting these different wards sitting back on these tip funds, before you holler going to the taxpayer for more money, you should open up the books and all that. And and they talking about they want to raise the taxes after the election. Now, if you want to be fair about it, do that stuff up front, because it's really ridiculous when you look all the time when people losing their homes every time they make it like it ain't nothing to raise the taxes, but you have people losing their home. When people lose their home, they losing a tax base as well. They just don't care a lot of times. I just wish a lot of times they'd be a lot more accountable to the taxpayers.
And that is a very good point. Now, I just want to bring clarity when you said the union is not raising taxes, whatever the case may be. And answer your question about Ron Emanuel building DePaul University Stadium by the football stadium. Yeah.
Some type of athletic.
Yeah, it's a football stadium. It costs $170 million. And he's giving, supposedly, I don't know if it's been voted down or not, but $100 million from taxpayers' money have already agreed to pay for this stadium for DePaul University. And the United Center said that they were going to allow DePaul, because I guess DePaul is like really good when it comes to their basketball and everything like that. So the United Center supposedly had invited DePaul University where they can come and use their facilities free of charge. And so you can come, and people, because a lot of people come from out of state and their families come to see them play and everything like that. And so the United Center, they opened their doors and was like, well, hey, if you guys need a bigger facility, you can come down to the United Center and we can do it there. So apparently Ron Emanuel, he was like, well, no, we're going to build this new structure by Soldiers Field, which is right over there, kind of like by 12th Street on Lakeshore Drive. And the mindset was, or at least the media let us know, the mindset was that, oh, we'll make the money back within 1 year. So this is justified for us to actually pay this money out. Oh, because we'll get it back. And so the thing with that is, you're absolutely right. So you need to talk to the aldermen, the people that perhaps even voted to have this done. So before we can actually get to that top, we need to start at the bottom. And that's why I believe in grassroots foundation. And so Cal is the place for you. So do you have a pen? Did you get that information? Because we have meetings. It's called Community Organized to Win. We're going to ask those hard questions. We're going to keep people, make sure that they're accountable for the promises and things like that they have made. And so that number for Cal is, are you there? Okay. All right. If you're still there, you're watching. That number is 312-588-7620. That number is 312-588-7620, and that is for Cal. And so you want to find out when we have the next meeting, and you want to call and you want to be a part of that because you want to express it. Because when I saw it, I was like, I just found that very interesting that, my tax dollars have already been earmarked to do something which, I really wasn't aware of. And so what was told to me is that, okay, your aldermen, they have to be held accountable for that. So when I say own the moment, this is a perfect example of owning the moment, changing our tomorrow by us being collective today. We have a caller? Caller, this is SEIU Says.
Hi, I was calling. I'm a custodial worker with the Board of Education, and I was trying to see if there was going to be a voice of representation at the Hilton Hotel tomorrow for Airmark supposed to be taking over.
Yes, we have received information as far as Aeromark is concerned, and as far as a representative that is coming out to that meeting. There will be someone that is going to attend that meeting in regards to that. So we do have the information, and so we understand this was a transition that came into place with Aeromark, and a lot of things. I hate that term trial and error because you don't want to make error.
That's exactly what it is, because I'm at a school now where it was 3 custodial workers and they took 2 away, and I'm there by myself now.
Mm-hmm. You're probably there by yourself, and they're telling you, hey, you got to do this, you got to do this, and you got to do that. And the sad thing about it, I'm not being negative, but when you think about it in business-wise, they're a management company, so therefore they need to know how to manage things. And it's just we've just been hearing a lot of things that hasn't been very good. But what I can encourage you and say is you're not alone. You have a union, and you have a very strong union, and you have a contract that's in place right now. So there are things that are called demand to bargain. And so when changes come into place, that's something that they have to bargain with the union over. So there's something they just can't up and decide to make changes. And that's a good thing. And we talked about that. That's the whole purpose of having a union. Talk about that, so you want to talk about the pitfalls with that. So but we are aware of that meeting, and that's a priority for us, that we get an understanding of exactly what's going on. So, I do apologize of the inconvenience that's going on with the transition. Like I say, I don't believe in trial and error. I like a blueprint of things that it needs to run efficiently. It needs to run like a locomotive. It needs to run and be productive with that. And there has been a lot of negative feedback when it comes to this whole transition, when it comes to Aeromark. So that's something that SEIU Local 73 and the Vice President of the CPS, Mr. Z, is aware of. And so I have good words for you for that. And what I can tell you is I encourage you to come to the general membership meeting, which is going to be May the 10th. You'll get an answer before May the 10th, but I encourage you to come to that meeting. Come out, have your coworkers come out, and that way you can get a division update. Your division for the Chicago Public Schools will be there, and you can address concerns, okay? Okay. All right. So as you were saying, what were some of the tactics that management was using to try to stop the union?
So, management's always going to kind of play by the same playbook, every time workers are trying to form a union, that means that they're trying to change the dynamic inside their workplace, because when folks don't have a union, management is up here. They hold all the power. They have all the power up here, and the workers are down here. So, at this place that actually just won their union, they had issues like staffing. They had issues in terms of safety. They had issues in terms of, their what they call productivity which is all of the billing that they have to reach and meet every week. And so, in terms of making decisions about those issues, management is way up here and the workers down here. So when they actually form a union, they go from here to here. They level the playing field, and the workers then actually have a real voice and a real way, an opportunity to change their workplace and improve their lives for themselves
and family
improve
lives,
their
legacy
families,
down
the
the
legacy
road.
down the road, and also the patients. They always want to bring it back to the patients because that's what they care about most. It's the people that they're taking care of because they're in this job for the right reason. They're not there. They know they're not going to get rich. They're there because they want to make a difference in these people's lives, and that's why they stood up together to
The
actually
good
take
thing
some power.
is, though, you can get rich, and the reason I'm going to say that is you're guaranteed a raise every year.
Well, that's bringing it back to the boss and what they're going to do. One of the things that they're going to talk about, always for the folks out there who don't have a union and who want to form a union is dues. Dues is one of the biggest things that they're going to talk about, and so they're going to tell you that it's a ton of money. But the thing that everybody has to remember is to ask themselves why. Why are they talking about this? Why are they talking about dues right now? When did they ever care about how I spent my money in the past? They care. Once you ask yourself why they're talking about these things, you'll find the answer really quickly, and you'll see, okay, they're talking about this because they don't want it to be here. They like it when they got the power up here. They don't want it to be a level playing field. They want to keep all the power, and so they know that if you form a union, their power is going to go from here to down here.
It means accountability.
It means accountability. It totally means
because you got some managers, you be like, did you get management skills from a Cracker Jack box? Okay, we have a caller on the line. This is SEIU Says. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
How are you?
Fine. How are you?
Excellent. Happy Tuesday.
Okay. You want my question?
Please.
Okay. Sir, I am the customer of a personal assistant. And
you're too close to your television.
What we need to know is how to
turn your television
order
down.
The contract.
Turn your television down. I'm sorry. Please.
Turn it all the way down.
Yes.
Thank you. How's that?
Excellent.
Okay, great. I'm the customer, and I have a personal assistant. And we want to know how do we order. I heard you graciously mention the contract and that SEIU and along. We want to know how to order a contract or get a copy of one.
Where is your work site?
Work site is on 95th, I believe.
Okay. Well, what you can do if you're a member of SEIU Local 73, we always want to make sure our members have, I call the contract a weapon, a collective bargaining agreement. And so the phone number that you can call is 312-588-7630. That number is 312-588-7630. And then when you call that number, we can go through our member profile, and then we can find out which union rep is assigned to you, and then we can make sure you get a copy of your collective bargaining agreement. Okay? All right, and we have another caller. This is SEIU Says. Hello?
Hi.
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 Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. I have two questions.
Okay.
A month and a half ago, I had an issue with my administration. I work for Chicago Public Schools. I had called in regards to my union rep, and she hasn't gotten back to me. I called back again, and they still haven't gotten back to me. What should I do?
You know what? A lot of times, I'll check to make sure everything is, fine as far as you calling, because I don't know what number you called, but my name is Charlie Bonds, and I would look forward to speaking with you on tomorrow. If you can call this number, 312-588-7630. That number is 312-588-7630, and that is the number to the MRC. And so what you can do, the Member Resource Center, and we have a lot of information we need to try to give out today. Unfortunately, we have a minute left. So, Nick, I'm going to definitely have to have you come back in regards to that. But
you want to say one thing?
Yes, please. Oh, I'm sorry. Just get that number. And then what you want to do is you want to ask for me. And then that way we will make sure that you get your problem addressed. Okay?
All right, Charlie.
Charlie Bonds. Thank you.
And I just wanted to say, these workers at the Regional Mental Health Center who just won their union, it took them a while to get it, but they never gave up, and they knew that things needed to change, and they stood together and they formed their union. So, they're social services workers. So if there are over 2,000 members with SEIU Local 73 across Northwest Indiana and Illinois.
28,000, exactly.
There's 2,000 social services workers.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2,000 social service workers. Okay.
And those are nurses, those are social workers, therapists. Call this number 312-588-7544 if you see things that in your workplace that need to change and you want to stand with your coworkers to make that change.
Okay, so you got that information. I thank you, Nick, for coming, and you
thanks for having
definitely
me.
will be back. All right, so this is SEIU Says. We thank you for allowing us in your home. I hope you have a great weekend. Next week, same bat time, same bat channel.